I'm seeing a Chinese property crash. They had one in the past, but big time this time when the property crash comes. Really bad. Xi Jinping, ill. Something's happening with him, but it's being covered up. He's got a serious illness, but it's being covered up. Ultimately, further ahead, I've mentioned it before, a second revolution in China. All the things that I'm talking about are all pending towards the ultimate second revolution in China. Xi Jinping's illness, I feel, will have something to do with this. A breakup of the Chinese Communist Party, divisions within the Chinese Communist Party itself that could ultimately lead to the sort of unrest that could bring them down. So there's a cover-up. There's a big cover-up. He survives. I don't see him dying, but he survives, but there's a cover-up going on. And that there will ultimately be a democracy in China. His ideas will be taken on board. And I've often predicted as well and said that eventually China will see the end of the CCP and will break up into smaller countries again, cantons, I suppose, but independent, such as Tibet becoming independent, Hong Kong becoming independent, and working much the way as Europe does work today, as a confederation of countries who are friendly to one another. Simultaneously, I've also spoken about the growth of a Western alliance, just as we see this Eastern alliance beginning to build. I predict something very dark happens to President Joe Biden. What I'm seeing is, in effect, something that he's been pulled from power, sacked, as it were, and quite close to the election time. I'm seeing him kind of being removed almost at the last minute, being almost dragged off the stage. I feel him being carried off the stage. I don't know if that's symbolic or actual. And it's weeks before the election. And I feel that we've got, for a very short time, Kamala Harris in power, very short time, and then a scramble to find a new candidate. So something quite disruptive is going to happen to the presidential elections right at the very last minute. So I don't quite know how to interpret what I'm seeing with this. Sometimes I see sort of like clouds, like I say, clouds over events or clouds over countries. Perhaps it's the Hunter Biden scandal. Perhaps it's that I'm seeing. But I kind of sense it's more to do with illness, perhaps, senility, and people stopping him because of that. Could there have been a plan to assassinate either him or Trump, perhaps? Because I get the feeling again that there's something where there's very dark forces involved here, very deliberate forces, not just the forces of, natural things like illness. So it could even be that a new candidate will run for the presidential nominee. I was seeing Elizabeth Warren and Gavin Newsom.